بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد فقد قال الله عز وجل في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Most honorable elders, dear respected brothers, friends, my youth, and honorable mothers and sisters listening, we have been discussing the verse in Surah Al-Fatihah of Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim. We are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance to which path? The straight path, And this straight path, we've spoken about it in the previous two sessions on this ayah about guidance. Today, inshallah, we shall be touching upon the topic of other places in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also talks about this straight path, but from the perspective where Shaytan is talking about the straight path. So Shaytan makes mention of the straight path, meaning Shaytan is aware of the straight path that Allah has set as a guidance for mankind, that whoever treads this straight path, he is going to attain my pleasure and thereafter attain Jannah. So in the Quran, Allah mentions about Shaytan's speech where he talks about this straight path as well. So he's well aware of this, and there's a big reason why he's aware of this straight path. And just before we go into this, if you want to harm someone, then the best way to harm them is do something to them or something to that which they love, which is very dear to them. And then once you hurt that thing, once you harm them in that way, then you have succeeded. One of the reasons why Shaytan knows about the straight path is because he knows that the success of mankind, it lies upon treading this straight path straight. Treading the straight path straight, not going left or right. He knows that very well. So he's aware, and he knows that if I can get them to waver left or right, I will succeed. So talking about this in Surah Al-A'raf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that Shaytan says, قَالَ فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي. He says that for the reason because of which Allah, you have put me on another path. Not this straight path, you've put me on another path. Now, who's responsible for Shaytan to be on the path of doom and destruction? Himself, because he is the one who refused to prostrate to who? Adam alayhi salam. But look, this is how his arrogance is, his ego is. He won't accept his mistake. And what does he do? He puts the blame on Allah. May Allah save us from arrogance and ego. Say Ameen. Because it's so dangerous that you see everyone at fault, even up to Allah, but you will never see yourself at fault. This is how dangerous arrogance and ego is, and we must ask Allah for protection from this. So he says, قَالَ فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. Oh Allah, because you have misguided me, you've put me on the wrong path, now I'm taking a duty upon myself to sit on this path. I will definitely sit on this straight path, the straight one. Yeah, so I'm on the wrong one, but I'm going to come and sit on the straight one, and I am going to do what? ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ. I'm going to come to this mankind, this Banu Adam, this progeny of Adam alayhi salam, because of which you have put me on another path. I'm going to come to these children of his, and I am going to do everything within my means to direct them to other ways and other paths. And if you go to another path, what's going to happen? You're going to Jannah or somewhere else? Somewhere else. You're going to Jahannam. So I'm going to be doing that. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to come from the front. I'm going to come from the back. I'm going to come from their right. I'm going to come from their left. And I'm not making this up. These are all the directions mentioned in the Quran of Shaytan. He's saying, ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُم مِّن بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ, I'm going to come from the front. Then مِّن خَلْفِهِمْ, then from the back. وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ, right and left. I'm going to come from all directions, is the message, to misguide them. وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. And Allah, I'm telling you, majority of this mankind, you're going to find them ungrateful to you, that you are the one who's given them everything, so they should be listening to you. But you will find them that they will listen to me, and they will take the other path. May Allah save us from that. How foolish can that person be? Your father gives you everything. Raise your hands if your father buys you everything. The clothes you've got, who bought you that? Yeah, the food on the table, who's putting that there? Father does everything. But when it's father's word against friend's word, where do we go? I hope, mashallah, may Allah make all the children like that. To the father, mashallah. If the father's here, then mabruk to him, mashallah. Yeah, but we go to the friends. No, friends is saying this, friends. Father's doing everything, mother's doing everything, still we're going to the friends. So here, Allah's done everything, but Shaytan is saying that no, you're going to find them that they're going to be listening to me. So this is like Shaytan saying that I'm going to be on the straight path. And this straight path, what is this path? This is the path of Islam. This is the path of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to all His commandments. This is the path of Sharia. And what is Shaytan saying? That I'm going to sit on this path, and Allah, I'm going to involve people in takfir and shirk. I'm going to get them to disbelieve in you completely. Or if they won't disbelieve in you, I'll take them to the next level, which is I'll make them ascribe partners to you. And even if they're not ready for that, and they just want to be on the line of Tawheed, on the path of Tawheed, then I'm going to make them disobedient servants of you. Meaning, they claim to be Muslims and Mu'mins, but their actions and their ideologies will be completely different from what your straight path is. So the label will be Muhammad or Muhammad, and his actions will be like Muhammad's, not Muhammad's. May Allah save us from that. In another place, Shaytan says that قَالَ رَبِّ بِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Oh Allah, again, because you've misled me, and who's the cause? This Adam and his children. Adam is the cause, because you told me to prostrate to him, and I didn't prostrate to him. So here's the cause, and you've put me there. So because of this, I am going to beautify to him the world. So it's like saying that, you know what, I'm going to feed him poison. So because I want to destroy him, I'm going to feed him poison. I'm going to drop a boulder of rock upon him. I'm going to put him in a building that collapses on his head. So what does he say? Does he say these things? I'm going to stab him, I'm going to shoot him, I'm going to open the ground, split it, it's going to go underneath, I'm going to bury him. What's going to happen? What am I going to do? My destructive weapon to take him off the straight path, what is this going to be? I am going to beautify the world to him. Oh, that doesn't seem that bad, does it? Beautify the world? Oh, what kind of weapon is that? But ahead, look what he says. وَلَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. I am going to misguide every single one of them, all of them, إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلَصِينَ, except for those that are sincere servants. So Shaykh Sa'di, rahimahullah, he mentions that this verse means that أُزَيِّنَ لَهُمُ الدُّنْيَا, that I am going to beautify this world. This is what Shaytan is saying. I'm going to beautify this world. وَأَدْعُوهُمْ إِلَى إِيثَارِهَا عَلَى الْأُخْرَى. And by beautifying this world, I'm going to use it as a weapon to distract them and use all their time behind this world so that their attention is turned away from preparing for the hereafter. This is my tactic. So the beautification of the world is not the problem. It is the distraction it brings with it. It is the attention grabber and how it grabs the attention that completely makes a person lose focus of his mission in this world. What's the mission? What are we talking about? Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Which path is our mission? The straight path. But we can't go on that path if we are busy looking elsewhere. Yeah, so sometimes what happens is that the driver is supposed to be looking ahead, but he's got his phone on the side, or in his lap, or on the wheel, and then his distraction. So look, he's on the straight path, isn't he? So he's going to London, isn't he? He's going to London, but he's got the phone, so his eyes are somewhere else. So what happens to this person? Does he get to London with afiyah? Well, majority of the times he does, and Allah saves us so many times from crashing into others and having accidents. And maybe there's kids in those cars and small children in those cars. Maybe there's a motorbike next to us, or maybe there's a truck, and our life is completely there, close to an end if we crash in that. Allah saves us so many times, so many times. But a person on the straight path, there is no guarantee he will reach there. Or he will reach there with afiyah if his focus is somewhere else. So he can still be driving and still be walking on that path, but when he loses focus, then he will head into problems like that person who is driving but he's on his phone and he could cause an accident. So he says that these people on the straight path, I will beautify the world so much for them that even though they're treading the straight path and they feel they're making progress, they are actually going to head into a very big accident. And these accidents, our mashayikh mentioned that a lot of the time they don't happen in the person's life, but they happen at the point of death. Where a person thinks, I'm on the straight path, I'm dying as Muhammad, not Muhammad, and everything's all right, my salah's okay, I'm fasting, it's all good, and my sins are there as well, and nobody knows about them, and Allah's not punishing me, it's all good. And then at the point of death, the movies that he was engrossed in, the misusing of the eyes, and the music that he was addicted to, the zina, the adultery, fornication he was addicted to, and Allah did not punish him in this world, he starts seeing all those scenes, images, and hearing those voices at the point of death. So when other people around him are saying to him, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, other dhikr of Allah, his attention is not there at all. He can't say that because his mind is occupied in playing back the sins of the life. So the strike of Shaytan and the accident can come at a time where it's worse and it's least expected at the time of death. So don't become overconfident of the life of sins, that nothing's happening to us, and we're carrying on like this. May Allah protect us. Inshallah, just trying to wrap up now, inshallah, a couple of minutes. We try to keep it to 20, 25 minutes. So in the tafsir of Imam Baghdadi rahimahullah, he mentions that when Shaytan says here that لَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ, I will beautify the world to them in earth, then he means that حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا وَمَعَاصِيكَ, that I will beautify the world and your disobedience to them. Meaning, I will engage them in the world to that extent that they will start to disobey you. So the world is not bad, but it has that level of attraction that if you don't keep it at bay and at a distance from your heart, like our dear respected chief guest, Shaykh Maulana Fadli Haqwadi Sahib, was just mentioning after the talk after Asr, that if the love of the world comes in the heart, then you're in a problem. But if the love of the world stays outside the heart and you are a passerby, then you're okay. Then you're not affected or infected. Is that better? You're not infected. And finally, Imam Qurtubi rahimahullah, he mentions that this tazyin of dunya, this beautification of this world, happens in one of two ways. One is that either Shaytan will engage you directly in disobedience of Allah. This is his tactic, this is his attempt. And if he can't engage you in disobedience of Allah directly, in direct disobedience, is that don't perform salah, don't do this. So imagine you're a 5 times musalli, you come here 5 times a day, you're going to stay till Isha, come back for Isha. Imagine that. And then Shaytan has to say, just don't pray Isha. So that's one way how he is going to misguide us. Just tell us, convince us not to perform our salah, not to obey Allah. And the other way Imam Qurtubi rahimahullah mentions that وَإِمَّا بِشُغْلِهِمْ بِزِينَةِ الدُّنْيَا عَنْ فِعْلِ الطَّاعَةِ. Another way of him taking it to the disobedience of Allah is using the world as a master distraction point. Master distraction, and distracting you from the obedience of Allah, which concludes to the disobedience of Allah. So you eventually will get to the disobedience, but by distracting you from the obedience. May Allah save us from both. May Allah save us from both. And take peace and take confidence and courage that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. That the makr and the cunningness and the planning of shaitan and his overpowering you, his ability to overpower you, this is very weak. So who's in the stronger position? Banu Adam. Humans are in a stronger position as long as they have the dhikr of Allah in their lives. This is the key. If you are a dhakir, do you have any dhakirs? Anyone's name is dhakir over here? Okay. If you are a dhakir, not by name but by trait, if you have the quality of dhikr in your life, you always remember Allah. Yeah, one way is by your tongue. One way is engaging in good actions. Look, you're here today in this dars of the Quran. We've gone a couple of minutes over, but none of you have got up, or one of you have got up. Just there. Asim got? Inshallah. Okay, sorry. So, okay, you can go, inshallah. I know. It's the food. He's preparing the food, mashallah. He knows we're concluding, that's why. So, you haven't got up. So this is a very positive way of remembering Allah. Stay in the gatherings of remembrance. The masjid is masjid. What does masjid come from? Sajda. Yeah, the place of sajda. This is your hub. This is where you protect your iman and you keep engaging the dhikr of Allah. So we should remember Allah by tongue, by actions, and keeping gatherings of remembrance of Allah to protect our iman and stay firm on the straight path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first will give me, then the rest of you the ability to act upon this. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanallah al-azim. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.